Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we are doing a granny square sweater. Very simple. I've been into these granny stitches quite a lot lately. I'm doing like, you know, shirts and tops and skirts and all of that kind of stuff, but yeah, this is one we're gonna be working on this. I thought that this would be a cute, I wanted to do this sweater for Valentine's, so that this section here would be red and then maybe white, or red and then pink, but I decided to go with another style for Valentine's. But yeah, I think this is really cute that I do this color in the middle like this. So this is gonna be right in front of your chest, and obviously it's the same in the back, so I did the same for the back as well. So there's this nice white square in the middle, and then the rest of the sweater is in gray. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna be working on. It's not very complicated, it's not very difficult, it's very fast to work up. Like, these granny stitches are the best when you just want to get your work done fast and be done quickly. It's very easy. So yeah, go grab your colors, whatever colors you like. You don't have to do the same colors that I'm doing here. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we get started with this project, I'm gonna show you all the materials that we're using for it. I have my two color yarns here. I have my gray and I have my off-white. So these are the two colors I'm gonna be using. So just quickly, I use this yarn for pretty much everything. Is the only yarn I can find here where I live, unless I buy online, and I don't most of the time. But anyways, this is called Azurite. It's 100% acrylic. This is Azurite by Timmins. As you can see, it's the same brand, but it's just different. This one is by Timmins. I don't know what the difference is. Everything is exactly the same. So like I said, 100% acrylic. It's 50 skein or 50 grams for this skein, and it's 140 meters, so it's not too much. You're gonna need a ton of it. The recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and this is a lightweight number 3. Okay, so everything is exactly the same as this. So I call these off-white, I call this gray, but this company does color numbers instead. So this is 0211 for this off-white, and this is 3074 for this gray color. Okay, so you can use any yarn that you want obviously, but this is what I'm using. I'm gonna be using my 5 millimeter crochet hook, or H8 US. That is not recommended, but it's a preference of mine, so you can obviously follow the recommended hook size if you want, but for me, I often default most of the time to this size here. I have my darning needle to be able to join my panels, and as well as some stitch markers. I only have 2 right now. I have a whole bag of them somewhere. And I don't have a scissors. Sorry, I do have a scissors. Here's the scissors here, but my tape measure I misplaced. I've been looking for it for a couple of days now. I cannot find it, so I'm gonna have to order another one. But yeah, so this is everything that we need. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovely, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm starting with the off-white color here for the yarn. You can start with any color, and again, of course, you've seen the picture of the sweater we're making. You can make the order of the colors however you want. This is just the way I did mine here. Okay, so to start off, I'm just gonna start off by doing a slip knot like this, and then I don't complete the slip knot because I actually need to do a magic circle. So I stop right there. Instead of pulling it like this like I usually do for a normal slip knot, I stop before so that I can contain or keep my circle open. So I just go like this, and then I keep it like this. Okay. Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold. So I'm still coughing a little bit. I think you can hear it on my voice, but anyways, I have my magic circle here, and now I'm going to work, and I'm going to need to leave this open so I can work into my magic circle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I do a chain of 2. This chain of 2 counts as a double crochet, and then right next to it, right here into the magic circle, I'm going to do another double crochet to make it 2 with a chain 2, and then another one into the hole to make it 3. Okay, so I have my 3 double crochets right here. And then I will chain 1, and then I will do another 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll do a chain 1, Then I'll do 3 more double crochets into the magic circle. So 1, 2, and 3. Then I'll do a chain 1. Then I'll do 3 more double crochets into my magic circle. And as you can see here, as I'm going, I'm actually bringing the string that is hanging along with it. I don't leave it where we started off here. It will just make it easy when you close your circle, so that it's not leaving your work a little bit wonky. Okay, so I have 4 sets of 3 double crochets here. So I have 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, and here, and they're all separated by a chain 1 in between. And so for me to separate this set of 3 double crochets here and this set of 3 double crochets here, I'm going to do a chain 1 again, and then I'm going to pull my magic circle so that it closes like this, and then I can go ahead and slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that we started with. Okay, just like that. Oops, just like that. So now I have 4 sets of double crochets that make a circle like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna chain 2. So in this project, chain 2 is gonna count as your double crochet every time. And then what I do is on that chain 1 spot, so it's almost like I'm going a little bit backwards, I'm gonna do 2 double crochets into that chain 1 gap that joined these 2 sides. So I'll do 2 more, and as you know, my first here counts, my first 2 chain of 2 counts as a double crochet. And then I'm going to skip right into the next chain 1 spot. So I skip 3 stitches, and in the next chain 1 spot I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Okay, oopsie, I'm a little bit clumsy, I apologize for that. And sometimes long nails doesn't help very much for crocheting, but it's okay. And then I do a chain 1, so 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then I do 3 more double crochets into that same spot. Okay, so what we do here is we start to create corners. So for the second row, we want to make sure we create our corners, and that's why we're doubling up the number of double crochets into the same stitch. We do 6 all together, but there's a chain 1 that separates the 6, so you have 3 on each side of that chain 1. Okay, and then of course I jump these 3 double crochets, and into the next I do the same thing I just did here, which is create a corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. Okay, so 2, 3, chain 1, and then 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then I do the same. I go into this chain 1 spot here and I create another corner. So you guys know by now what that means. 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay, so this is, I've done this project on the channel before with the I think granny stitch sweater. So if you go on the channel, you'll be able to find that. A couple of months ago I did it, but anyways, we're just doing a different version of that now. Okay, so now I have 3 completed corners here. So I have this corner completed, this corner completed, and this corner completed, and I have the 4th corner here that is semi-completed because we started it with this row, but we have to finish it at the end of this row, the same row. We have to finish that corner. So what it means is we just go into that chain 1 spot where the other 3 double crochets are coming from, and we do the remaining 3. Okay, so we just do 3 double crochets, and because we want to create the corner here like we did everywhere where we have a chain 1 between the 6 double crochets, we do a chain 1 here, and then we slip stitch on top of that double crochet. Okay, like this. So now I have what is this called, a square. Okay, so with my square here, I'm gonna just continue to build. And so what I do again is I do a chain of 2, and then I go into that chain 1 spot and I do 2 more double crochets, And you always start by doing half a corner, but you finish that corner when you come around. Okay, and then now that I have completed half of that corner, I have this gap here. There's no chain one or anything, it's just a gap that is left by us skipping these 3 double crochets previously. It leaves this place having a gap like that. So into that gap we do 3 double crochets. Okay, and keep in mind it's not a corner, so you cannot do the corner stitches into this one. You just do normal 3 double crochets into the same space. And then now you have a corner here, and for the corner you go ahead and do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, and then you chain 1, and then you complete 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. So this is your full completed corner here. And then for the next, you skip 3 stitches, you go into this gap just like we did over here, and in this gap here you don't do a corner because it's not a corner, so you just do your regular 3 double crochets into that same spot like that. And then now you have a corner, so you go and do your 3 double crochets into the corner, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. Okay, so it's a very simple, obviously this is over explaining it, because if somebody's clicking on this video and they are a beginner, I want you to understand what you're doing, as opposed to me assuming that this is a common stitch, this is a common pattern, this is a common project, and that you should know. I cannot assume that, so I'm making it. And I apologize for those of you who know how to do this. You can obviously skip ahead and just work your project, but for those who are beginners, I do it more so that you understand, especially if this is the first video you're clicking on of this type of project. Okay, so anyways, I am now at the corner, so I will complete my corner here, and this is my second last corner. Okay, so I do my 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then I do my next 3 double crochets into the same chain 1 spot. Okay, 2 and 3. Okay, and then now I have the non-corner spot. I do 3 double crochets, just normal 3 double crochets into the same spot. Okay, and then now I have to complete the corner that I started but did not finish, which is right here. So I just go right into that space and I do 3 double crochets, and I already have the 3 at the beginning, from the beginning of the row. So all I have to do is do 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then slip stitch on top of that chain 2 spot. Oh, sorry, chain 2. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is my square here, and this is only 3 rows that I've completed. Okay, so if you continue this pattern like this, the only time you work your 6 double crochets separated by a chain 1 is in the corners. It's so very corners like this. Otherwise, in these spots here, you just do 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then you go into the corner, do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the same corner spot, then 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, and then do a corner, 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here in a corner. And the more rows you do, the more these gaps here increase. So for the next row, you're gonna have 3 spots where you have to do regular 3 double crochets, and then in the next row you have 4 and 5, and it just goes on like that. Okay, so what I will do here is I will build my panel. This is one panel of the 2 body panels, so it's gonna be 2 identical panels. One is gonna be for the back, one is gonna be for the front. So in terms of measurements, so all you will need to do is measure above your bust, like go across your bust from one corner, from underneath your armpit. Let's say this was your body here. Let's say this was your body like this. Okay, sorry, I don't have my tape measure. And let's say this is your tape measure here. So this is your armpit here, this is your armpit here, and over here is your bust. So you go over your bust. So you will just place your tape measure like this, so it goes from this here to here, and that's gonna be how wide you do the panel. And this is if you do it tight. If you want a little bit of looseness to it, you increase the number of rows that you do so that it's a little bit loose. Okay, So your first panel is gonna need to fit over your front, just around like this from armpit to armpit, okay? And you measure the widest part of your chest, which is gonna be your bust, because there's a bump of your, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And then so when you do the first panel and you've completed it, come back to the video. What I will do is, with my two colors, I will do half the rows in the off-white, and I will do half the rows in the gray. So at some point I will change the color and go into the gray, and then I will do so that it's the middle is white and then the outside of that is in the gray, okay, as you guys have seen in the pictures. So go ahead and do that. When you have completed your first panel, come back. I will look at it, we will look at it, you will look at yours, I will look at mine, and then we will go on and move on from there, okay? See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my one panel here, and as you can see, so I actually ended up doing 10 rows in the white, off-white here, and I ended up doing another 10 rows in the gray. And this is my size when I fit it nice and loose, not too loose, but loose enough that I'm not being choked by my sweater, okay? So this is gonna be one of the panels. It can be the front or the back, but either way, this is my measurement here. I don't have a tape measure, so I had to keep fitting these guys over my body every time I did a couple of rows, just to make sure I can actually fit it on top of my chest and across all the way to under my armpits. And because I wanted it a little bit loose, I added 2 to 3 rows that will give me that looseness that I want, okay? So I have my 20 rows that I've completed here for my first panel. So I'm gonna pretty much disconnect these here. So I have done my chain one and then slip stitched. And then so what I will do is I'll just leave a little bit of a hanging tail here to be able to join, because what we will do is we either will create a neckline here, whichever way. This is a square, so you can literally turn this whichever way and it's gonna do the job. But either way, I'm gonna just leave a little bit of a tail hanging here so that we can use that to join our panels, okay? So I'm gonna cut it, let's say somewhere here, and then what I will do is I will do a slip stitch like that, pull, and then pull this, and then we'll leave this like that, okay? So this is gonna be the part that I think this part here is the nicer part. So with granny stitch, if you just go around and around like this, you have one side that looks a little bit different. So as you can see, I always like the part that is facing me when I work, because if you flip it on the other side, it looks like this. So I don't know if you guys see the difference. There's a little bit of a different look to it. So I often like to have this as the inside of my sweater, and this side, which I think I consider a little bit nice and cleaner, as my outside. And of course, then now when I joined when I changed the colors, I leave the strings on this side, so that this is the side that I weave them in, and they stay as the inside of the sweater. Anyways, I think I'm probably over explaining something here, but anyway, so this is done. I'm gonna go ahead and start my second one and duplicate literally what I just did here. Exactly the same thing I did here, I'm gonna do for the second. And then when I have both panels completed, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you guys how to join these two panels and then how to work on our sleeves, okay? So I will see you guys when you have your second panel completed. Okay, my lovelies, I have completed my second panel here as well. So as you guys can see, I have two identical panels, okay, that are just ready to go, and all I have to do is join them, and then I'm ready to work on the sleeves of the sweater, okay? So again, I did cut the string on the second panel just like I did the first one here, just so we can use the two to join either to section out the neckline area or to join the sides, but I think it's gonna be more for the neckline area. And as you can see, they're both facing up here. So what I will do in terms of joining them, so this is facing up, so I'm gonna leave that facing up, and I'm gonna place this one facing down on top of it. And this also allows me to have one of the strings on the left side here and the other one on the left and on the right, so that when I join the top, I'm coming from the opposite directions. And also this side that I join my work, it's gonna be the outside. As you can see, this is the side that I don't want to be what's showing. And so when we finish joining everything, we're gonna have whatever is on the opposite side as our outside of the sweater. Okay, so this is where you can section out your neckline however you want to do it. So what I do is I just measure to see how much of the neckline I want to be part of my work, and the part of my whatever, however the size of my neckline is, and then I will leave that open. So the first thing that I will do is I will just count from corner to corner. So I have the like right after the corner I have these gaps here, so I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 5. So let's say I want this to be my neckline here. I will just take, well, I already lost the count on one of the side where I let go, but it's okay. I will just put these here. I'll do the same here where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I was at 5. You guys know what I'm talking about here. You can obviously do this however you can measure it with a tape measure. I don't have it, so I have to count out. So and then on this side I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I will put a stitch marker there. Okay, so in other words, this is what I'm anticipating to be my neckline. What I often do is I leave the neckline a little bit wider so that when I join, and then I join the sides, I will actually try the actual sweater vest on at this point, because it will only be a vest as opposed to a full sweater, because we don't have the sleeves yet. And if I find that this is too loose, I can increase by just kind of joining a little bit more, going inwards like this. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do here. I think this will probably be a good neckline for me, but that's what I'm gonna be doing. And at this point, this is where you decide how much of a neckline you want to leave out, whether you want it to be extremely loose on the neckline or too tight so that it's kind of closer to your neck. It's up to you. That is all something that you can decide. Okay, so I take my darning needle and I just put my yarn in there, if I can manage to get it through, just like that. And then from here, so as you see, my string is right in the middle of the corner, so I'm gonna obviously go into that corner and then go into the corner on the opposite side and just pull that through. And I'm gonna do that one more time. This time I loop the yarn around like that. It creates kind of like a slip knot here, and it locks that area in. And then for the rest of the stitches here, I'm just gonna honestly just go to the stitches on this side and stitch from the other side. I match up the stitches and then I just pull, then I match up the stitch for the next one and I pull, and then I match up the next stitches here. So just grab whatever you have on this side and the other side, and then I just continue to do this all the way. And I'm gonna do this to the stitch marker. So go ahead and do the same. When you complete it, your last one should be right here. Come back and then I will show you how it looks like, and then we can repeat the same thing on the other side. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, my lovelies, so I just quickly joined to the stitch marker. So I just removed the stitch marker, but I just did it to where the stitch marker was right here. And as you can see, this is pretty much what the joining on top is. This is gonna be the inside of our sweater, and then if I flip onto the side that's gonna actually be the outside, this is how it's gonna look like. Okay, and you can see here as well, I didn't actually do anything. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna do a chain. I'm not gonna do what do you call it, like knot it off or anything like that. I'm gonna leave it like this because I'm not sure if this is the size I want, or if I want to make it smaller or larger, or whatever the case is. So all I do is just I leave it like that, and I remove my darning needle and I flip it to the other side that I need to do the same with, and then I will do the same thing here. And I'm gonna leave those there without touching them for probably the rest of the until I finish joining the two panels. When I finish them, I will try it on, and then if the neckline looks okay, I will leave it and I can knot off and weave in. But if not, then I will adjust as needed. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same on this side here. I'm gonna join just like we did on this side all the way here to the stitch marker. So go do the same. When you have completed that, come back and we will move on to the next part of the project. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have done both the tops here. So as you can see, I have joined on each side of my shoulders here, leaving this area for now as my neckline, and that can be adjusted as I have left these here. So it can either get smaller, it could get wider depending on how I will try it on. But I also went ahead and taken the liberty to section out my armhole here. So all I did was just I used the measurements that I know of my arms in the past, and I just section out these sections here because I don't have a tape measure, so I just kind of had to go with my my knowledge of my shoulders. Okay, so the way you will do it is you will take your tape measure, you will measure the widest part of your arm, most likely the upper part of your arm, and then depending on how loose you want it, you will increase some. So let's say maybe your arm, this is what will fit your arm nice and tight, but you want it to be a little bit loose, then you just increase by giving a couple of inches for that looseness of your sleeve. So I did that already here. I sectioned out my my parts where I would leave my armholes open, and then this is where I will be joining. I will join from here to here and from here to here. I've already prepped my yarn on my darning needle here, so all I have to do is just show you guys how to do one side, and then you guys will do the other. Okay, so again, I line up my work very nice and neat here from the bottom, and at the very bottom here I use the corner, but I don't actually use the very corner like this to join. I don't go like this because it's gonna leave this gap a little bit off here. So what I do is I will actually go to the stitch. So you see there's these 3 double crochets here. In that final double crochet before the chain one, I'm gonna go into that stitch, and the same thing on the other side like this, and then I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna have a knot. I'm just gonna knot these here so that I don't lose my work when I pull it. So I'm gonna knot once and I'm gonna knot twice. Okay, and then knot. Okay, and then I'm just gonna work now lining up the stitches, kind of like how we did the top, line up the stitches all the way to the stitch marker. So again, I grab that stitch that is next to it, and then on the other side I do the same. Then I pull, and then I go to the next stitch, I line it up to the other side, and I pull, and then I just continue to do this all the way. And if you line up your stitches, you will line up properly all the way to where your stitch marker is. And then when you finish this, come back. So I'm going to do the same obviously here. I'm going to join to the stitch marker, and then when I finish, I will come back, and then we will look at how it looks like, and then we can go ahead and do the other side as well. Okay, so go ahead and do this, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovely, so I have joined just right here, as you can see, and this is where my stitch marker was, so I just grabbed it out, but I pretty much just did a stitch right in the middle here. So I'm gonna go right back into that stitch, but this time I'm gonna do I loop the yarn around so it kind of simulates what do you call this, as a slip knot. Okay, so that it locks it in like this. So now that I have finished that here, I'm gonna cut the yarn somewhere here. I'm gonna leave this like this for now, but often after I join, I just do a little bit of a pulling apart like this to make it so that it's nice and it loosens up the stitches. So this is again the outside, but when you flip it on the other side is where you will see the part that is the outside of the sweater. Okay, so this is how the outside of it is going to be, like the side of your body. Okay, so now that we have finished this side, I'm gonna flip it that way, and I'm gonna do the same here, and then when we have both sides completed, I'm gonna try it on while I'm still off camera for the neckline particularly. And if I find that this neckline is fine, I will leave it the same. If not, then I will adjust it, and I will come and talk to you about the adjustments that I did. And then when we finish that, we will go ahead and do our sleeves. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have joined and adjusted your neckline as appropriately as you need it to be. and then we'll move on from there. Okay, my lovelies, so I have finished joining both sides here of my sweater, and as you can see, I just have my armholes here to be able to work our sleeves, and I have my neck portion here, neck hole, and I just tried it on. I am okay with it the way it is, but what I will do is I will leave this the way it is to see, and I will try it on when the sleeves are fully on, just to see the full thing. And then if I realize that I need to adjust, then I can adjust that time. But for now, it looks like it's okay. It's the type of neckline that I like for this type of sweater. So we will leave that at this for this moment, okay? Now, I am going to show you how to do the sleeves. And I'm gonna start a sleeve, and then I'm gonna have you guys work the rest of it. And then I will see you guys when you finish one. And then that way we see how it looks like. And then we move on to the next. And as you can see, I'm just flipping it back to the right side out, and the reason for this is I want the pattern to continue like this in terms of the way the work looks. So, and this is when we were working on this project, this is what was facing us, so I would like this to be the side that is facing us as we work on the next part of it. So I will start working from the bottom here, and you can choose whichever side. You can choose this side, that side, but I'm gonna work from the bottom here, and I'm gonna start to build my sleeve like this. And in this situation here, I am going to just continue with the gray. I have some of these of white, but I feel like I'm gonna run out if I do the sleeves in white. So I have decided I have enough of the gray to do the sleeves in gray. So this is gonna be the only white part that we have as a patch for the sweater for now. We don't know what's gonna happen as I work on this, because I also wing my projects, so we will see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a gray. I'm gonna grab my gray here, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to do a row or two, and then we will have you guys, I will have you guys, and I will do the same work the rest of the sleeve, because in this case here we're not actually doing anything different. We're just working the sleeve down all the way to the length that we want. Okay, so for here I'm gonna do a slip knot just like this. Okay, and I leave this here like this. I bring my hook out, I go into this middle part here. Actually, you know what, I will go into this section here, because we're gonna be working into these sections here, and I'm gonna bring my hook through like this. I hope you saw that. And then I'm gonna chain 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna work my 2 double crochets to make it 3. So my chain 2 counts as a double crochet. So I'm gonna do the remaining 2 like this, so that we have a granny stitch there. And then I'm gonna skip these 3 double crochets, and into the next gap I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 double crochets. So 2, 3. Then I'm gonna skip these 3 double crochets, and into this gap I'm gonna do 3 double crochets just like so. And then I'm gonna skip these 3 stitches, and into that gap I'm gonna do 3 double crochets. So you guys obviously now just kind of understand what's going on. Very easy. It's a very easy stitch to create, because it's very visibly easy to do. It's not like other stitches where you cannot even see where the stitch is being put in, and it's difficult to understand what's going on. The granny stitch is very easy for that reason. It's just easy visibly to understand what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna do this just past the top here, because I would like to show you guys how the top section there will work. And then I will have you guys finish the row. We will start row 2 together, and then I will explain how to continue working these until you have your sleeve built. Okay, so we're coming on to the center soon here. That's 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and now as you can see, we cannot obviously skip to here, so we skip to this middle part here. So we go and do our 3 double crochets here. So 2 and 3. Oopsie, let's do that last one again. And then now we will skip into here, because this is still such a huge jump to go from there to here. As you can see, it leaves this gap that wide. So to fix that, we just go into this section here. So there's a corner that has 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. So in that chain 1, we're gonna do another 3 double crochets there. Okay, it's a workaround, it's a work that just doesn't make our work look a little bit wonky on top here. And then now we can jump over to this section here and complete our 3 double crochets. Okay, so for the rest of it here, it's easier. It's just like we did on the other side. You're going to just do 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets all the way until you have completed the last 3 right here, because you're going to need to do the last 3 in this hole here, and then come back to the video. We will slip stitch and then we will start the second row together, and then I will have you guys build that up. Okay, so see you guys when you get down here. Okay, my lovelies, so I just finished this section here. So as you can see, I'm now back to the bottom of the armpit here, and I have completed my 3 double crochets right here. And so now I'm just gonna slip stitch on top of that chain 2 and finish this row like this. And I'm gonna do a chain of 2 to start the next row, and we're gonna just keep working around like this. There's no turning or doing anything like that. And then right back into this space here, I'm going to do 2 more double crochets to make it 3, because our chain 2 counts as a double crochet. Okay, so just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna move on to the next space right here and complete my 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm gonna move on to the next gap. So in this case here, we're just skipping 3 double crochets to do our granny stitch. We skip 3 double crochets to do our 3 double crochets, and then we skip 3 double crochets to do the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so instead of repeating this and just showing you guys the same thing over again, I'm going to just kind of stop here and have you guys work that rest of that sleeve. And all we're doing here is just working the length of the sleeve until you have what you need. In terms of measurements, what actually usually helps me, when I do projects like this, I actually keep trying my project on until I have the length that I want, okay, of this sleeve. Because sometimes you can make a mistake and the measurements are not the accurate measurements, and then you end up either with a very short sleeve or a very long sleeve. So what I do, let's say this is my armpit right here. What I usually do is I take my tape measure, and this is my arm, and I just go from where my armpit starts and I take it all the way to the wrist of my arm, because that's where I want, let's say I want my sleeve to go that long. Then when I have this length, I work the number of rows that will end up giving me that length. And again, trying it on as you go is the best option probably, because you can get to see how it looks if you put your arm down, if you put your arm straight up, things like that. It's always going to be a little bit different looking, and you can actually get the way that you like your sweater to be just by trying it on. Okay, so work the sleeve all the way until you have that. And what I will actually do is I will have you guys do the second one as well. I will do the same, because there's no need to come back to show you to start the same thing the way we just started here. So we started this, work the sleeve until you have your length, move over to the other side, do the same thing, just start in the bottom like we started the other one, do the same thing. And then when you have both of your sleeves completed, come back to the video and we will go ahead and talk about the next steps of the sweater, what we need to do, if we need to do anything in the bottom, in the neckline, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked the sleeves of the sweater here. So as you can see, this is the side that we started together, and I went ahead and completed the length of my sleeve. And what I did here too, because I either would have just left it as a very loose sleeve, but what I did was for the final 4 rows I decreased, and as you can see, that is the look that it gives when you do a little bit of a decrease here. So I will explain how to decrease on the other side so that you guys understand what I'm doing. But if you don't want to decrease your sleeves, then you just leave it as is and it will look exactly like this. So this is the other side. Okay, so the other side, if you don't decrease at all, then you have something that looks like this. Okay, so it's a choice if you want to have something that kind of comes in a little bit like that, or if you want to leave it flared out like this, then that is absolutely up to you. So but if you want to decrease like I did, I'm gonna show you how to do that. And just so you know, for my sleeve here, I did 40 rows before the increase, and then I did 4 rows of the decrease. So I have 44 rows for the sleeve altogether from where we began to where we finished here. Okay, just in case you want to know that. But if you're doing different sizes, of course the length is going to be different, and so therefore the number of rows is going to be different. So I have my 44 rows here, and I'm going to show you how to decrease. So as you can see, I have completed my final granny stitch here, and then I slip stitch just like we did with everything else. And then what I will do is I will do a chain of 2, and then on that chain of 2 in this stitch right here, I'm gonna go right in and do another double crochet, so we know our chain 2 counts as a double crochet. So adding a second one makes it 2, and we decrease by just doing 2 double crochets in each space as opposed to 3. Okay, and that is how we decrease in the next 4 rows. Okay, so I will show you how to do this row, and then I will have you guys do the other remaining 3, and then we will come back and look at our work. Okay, so and then you go into the next space here and you do 2 double crochets, and then you move on to the next gap here and you do 2 double crochets, and then you move on to the next gap and do 2 double crochets. And this is what you will do all around. Okay, so just continue to do it until you come back here. So you will do your last 2 double crochets here, and then come back. I will show you how to start the next row, and then I will have you guys do the remaining of the rows. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have done my first row of decrease here, and as you can see, it's starting to kind of go in a little bit. Okay, not yet, not as much as the other side here, as you can see, but we have 3 more rows to go, so that will come eventually. So after doing my 2 double crochets here, I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch on top of the chain 2 on this side, and that's gonna be to finish this row just like that. And then to start the next row, I will chain 2, and I'm gonna turn I'm gonna go in here and do my second double crochet. So our chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and then I'll go ahead and just do what we just did, which is do 2 double crochets per gap. Okay, so this is our decreasing here. Okay, and then you just do this 2 more times. So you finish this row, which makes it 2 rows of decrease, and then you do 2 more, and then when you have your 4 rows of decrease, come back to the video and we'll finish off this section, and then we'll look at what else we need to do to wrap up the project here. Okay, so go ahead and finish your 4 rows of decrease, or however many. Maybe you want to do more than that. The more you do, by the way, the smaller it's gonna get. So if you want to make it really tight on your wrist, then you will continue to decrease more and more and more until it comes and snatches really tight on your wrist. But for now, I'm gonna do just the 4 rows like I did on the other side, and then I'll come back to the video. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have finished my 4 rows here. So as you can see, this is the first row, second, third, and fourth that I started by decreasing. And so I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch right on top of this chain 2, so we can wrap up this row here. So just do it like that, and then I'll bring in my scissors and I'll just cut it somewhere here, and then I'll bring that in, do a slip stitch, pull, and then I will weave these in at some other time. Okay, so as you can see, now we have both of our sides of both of our sleeves kind of coming in a little bit like that. So that is done. Now there is a little bit of something different I would like to do on the neckline, maybe just doing a row or 2 here of the maybe decrease in 1 or 2 rows. I'm not exactly sure how many, so I will do 1 first, and then I will go ahead and see if you like your neckline straight like this, it's absolutely up to you, but I'm gonna do just a few rows here of the neckline, just so it has a little bit of a relief here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this yarn here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just knot this so that I don't leave it kind of hanging here. So what I do is I just split the yarn like this, and what I do is I just go somewhere here, I bring the other side through and just knot it, and then it just kind of finishes that here. Okay, knot it a couple of times so that it doesn't come loose, and then I just cut the excess yarn like that. Okay, and I'll do the same on this side. It's just literally what we had left over from when we joined the top of the 2 sides here, the 2 panels. Okay, so we just had it hanging here because we weren't sure if we're going to decrease or like make the neckline smaller or larger or whatever the case is. But I think I'm okay to have it like this, and I'm just going to decrease a little bit using the the same stitch here. That way it comes in, but it's not just a straight line the way it is right now. Okay, so I'm just going to finish these up here, so that I can show you quickly how to start the decrease part. Okay, so what I will do, we will still continue to work on this side here because this is our outside, is a nice neat side, so we'll continue to work it from here. So I will just put my project like that. I will bring in the yarn, my working yarn here. Okay, and again, this is a choice. You don't have to. If you just really think you don't need to do anything else with your neckline, then this is done. You have weaved in and it's done, and you're good to go. But if you want to follow the tutorial as I am doing here, then you will just go ahead and do this. So just do my slip knot here, and you can either start on this side or this side. So I often start on the side that is on my right side or the side I'm working from, and then I just bring that in like this. And then I will do a chain of 2, and we know that this chain of 2 counts as a stitch. Okay, and then I will go ahead and do one more double crochet here to make it 2. Okay, just like that, very similar to what we did with the sleeve. And then I will go into the next one here, and I will do 2 double crochets, and I'll go into the next here, and I will do 2 double crochets, and then I will just continue to move around like this. And this will decrease the neckline a little bit, and that's why I said maybe I will do 1 row, maybe 2 at the most, just because I don't want it to be too tight. You still want to make sure that your head can come through. Okay, so that is important, that you're able to put your sweater on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So again, nothing very complicated in terms of the stitches that we're using. We're doing the same thing. And I will just go ahead and do this all around until I come back here. Now when it comes to the corner here, okay, so you will do the 2 double crochets here, and then you will jump right to the other side here and do your 2 double crochets, and then you continue. And then when you get to this side here, you will do your last 2 double crochets here, and then come back to the video, and I will go ahead and show you how to start the second row. Okay, if we do a second row, if we don't, then I will show you how to finish it off and be done. Okay, but for now, just work your 2 double crochets in each gap until you come back around to where we just started. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I finished my first row here. So as you can see, I'm just gonna place it like this. So as you can see, the neckline, there's a little bit of a relief that is coming out of the neckline instead of it being straight like we had it earlier. So I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more rows here. So again, I will just slip stitch on top of this chain 2, the one that we started the row with, just like this. And then I will do a chain of 2, and then just go ahead and do another double crochet there, and then move on to the next gap here and do a double crochet, 2 double crochets. And then I'll move on to the next gap here and do 2 double crochets, and I'll go around again the neckline. And then when I get back to the end here, I will do 2 double crochets here. I will slip stitch and see how it looks, and I will just work as many rows as I think it's gonna take to look good. I don't think I'm gonna do too many. I have a feeling maybe just this second one is gonna be the last one, but I'm gonna go ahead and see, and I will maybe even try it on. If it looks good, I leave it like that. If it doesn't, then I can always continue to do 2 more rows or 1 more row or something like that. Okay, but for now, just continue to do this around until you come back here, and then see if you need to continue or not. And if you don't continue, come back to the video. I will do the same, and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have decided just to do 2 rows. I think that looks absolutely beautiful like that. I don't need to do any more because I don't want it to become kind of like a turtleneck. So I just did 2 rows, and I'm gonna stop here. Okay, so again, I have finished my second row. I'm now back to the beginning here. So all I'm gonna do is just do a slip stitch on top of that chain 2, just like that, and then I'm gonna cut my yarn. Okay, And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a slip stitch and kind of lock it in here just like that. Okay, so often when I work with these loose stitches like this, I don't weave in my work because it's just gonna come out easily. So I just do knots. So what I do usually is I split the yarn, I split the strands like this, and then I take my, so this is gonna be the inside of my sweater, so I need to knot it on the other side. So I just take my hook, I put it here, I pull the other strands there, I bring the next one like this so that they're both on the same side, and they're both on the side that is my inside of the garment. And then I just knot, I just do some good number of knots here, 2, 3, 4 maybe, just to make sure that it's really nice and sturdy. And then what I do is I just take my scissors and just snip off the excess here. Okay, and that way it's just kind of like finished like this, because weaving in will make it so that it probably comes off very easily. But that's it. So this is it here. That's the neckline. If you do more, you may end up doing a turtleneck or something a little bit too tight. This is enough for me to bring my head through. I tried it on, and the sleeves are done as well. I've weaved in I knotted off the sleeves here, and so that's pretty much it here. So the sweater is done. I'm leaving the bottom like this. I think the bottom just kind of falling flat like this is good, so I'm leaving it like that. And again, as you can see, this sweater is both sides can be the front or the back. So because they're exactly identical, so you can wear these as your back, and then you can wear the other side as your back, but it doesn't make too much of a big difference. Okay, all right, well, this is the end of the project here. So this is a nice sweater to wear in the winter, now that we are in the depth of the winter here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the video to the end. I hope you like it. I hope you like the colors you chose for your project, because not everybody's gonna do it in the colors that I'm doing it. And yeah, I hope you guys subscribe, comment, like, and do all that good stuff. I have a membership only, join membership only now on my account. Go ahead and check that out. Click on it. There's some things that you get as a member. So yeah, go ahead and check it out and join if you are able to. And yes, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.